Hello. Welcome back to the Star Hack Crusaders.
5 seconds before this episode started, Hayden said, "Is there anything we do for the intro?" And Josh said, "Do whatever you want." So I think this is his fault.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Star Hack Crusaders. This is a
my mom's listening, by the way.
yeah. If I found out that gets
Josh's
cut from the
mom.
episode, I'm going ballistic. I'm
not kidding either.
destroying
I
everyone's
would never
life.
cut anything.
This is the JoJo and One Piece watching podcast where we are four people. 3 people haven't seen One Piece. 1 person hasn't seen JoJo. We make them fucking watch each other, and then we talk about it.
And then we make them kiss.
And then we make them kiss.
Yeah.
We make them kiss.
Mwah.
This is the kissing podcast. Yeah, we are. I am Hayden Hartrick, and sitting next to me is,
Adriana.
and next to them,
Clayton Chalman.
and next to them,
Josh.
and next to them is me again, Hayden Hartrick.
Whoa.
Whoa, full
Wow.
circle. No guest this week.
No guests. We're not really going to do that ever
Yeah,
again.
that was a one-time
Yeah,
thing.
That
we
did
learned
not
our
work.
lesson.
We don't really have any other friends.
It's called
so.
trial and error, people. Trial and error.
Yeah.
But this week, Clayton, our resident One Piece head who is watching JoJo,
That's me.
watched 5 new episodes
24
through
28.
Sure.
yeah, some number of
Yep.
episodes.
Yep. No, 25 through 29. My bad.
That's right. There were 5 total episodes, and we read volumes
22 and 23.
Yeah.
22 and 23 and finished the Alabasta.
The Alabastard.
And One Piece as a whole.
Yeah, One Piece is now over, and now this is just JoJo.
Yep.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? How's everyone, before we start talking about everything in the thing?
What?
Before we start talking about everything in the thing,
Now we're
how's
talking.
everyone doing?
How are y'all
I'm
doing?
gonna kill you,
For the
Roger.
love of God.
I'm in a silly mood.
Hayden's silly.
Hayden's feeling
Look
silly.
At that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling also silly.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Get ready. How are you feeling, Clayton?
Personally, I am feeling a little bit silly.
Oh, my God, you
shit.
guys. Okay, this is great. Josh?
Josh?
Per usual, I'm the black sheep of the
Oh,
podcast.
no.
Oh, God
Feeling
damn
real
it.
serious today.
God
Oh,
fucking
man.
damn it.
But-
God damn it.
But nonetheless,
worth a
feeling
shot.
good. The weather is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. First good day.
First good day
First
ever.
day where the high is below 80 degrees.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty good stuff.
Fall is the best season. Fall is S tier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyone disagrees?
Well, because it's like
Let us know in the comments. Leave us a 5-star review.
I love it because it's like I can finally wear like the clothes that I like to wear.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I'm looking at it, most like summer clothes, especially in like male oriented fashion, it's just a fucking t-shirt and a pair of pants, and it's like I want to wear things that are more than that, but I don't want to put on 2 layers when it's 200 degrees outside.
Yeah.
We live in Texas. It is so hot.
They're going to find us.
No, they're
Josh's address is
Texas.com.
not. I told you 112
That's where we live.
Texas.com.
we live
Don't
inside.
come over.
Yeah. It was the hottest summer on record. It was the hottest summer of our lives this past summer, but it is.
It really was.
But
Yeah,
but as
it
they
really
say
was.
lately, it's the coldest summer of the rest of our lives because it's only gonna get hotter from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta take these little. We gotta cherish these small hours, these little twists.
You were
of
not
fate.
kidding when you said you
I-
were serious. We were like,
So
how's
serious
everybody
of you.
doing? We're silly. And Josh is like, we're going to die from global warming.
Yeah. Did everyone have a good week? Everyone have a good.
Yeah, I found out the best way to make wings in my air fryer.
Oh shit!
Yes, you did.
And it-
Yes, you did.
What I do is I put the wings in the air fryer and I press the wings button.
Yeah.
And it's
so
fucking delicious.
Literally, I'm never buying wings ever.
Are they like? Are you making them from
no,
raw?
it's just from raw.
Egg to cradle to grave. From Raw.
There's no problem with what I just said. It's raw meat. It's raw meat, all right?
Raw,
It's raw meat.
Sugar from the raw. So yes. Yeah. You just get like I like flats, not drums. So I get a bunch of flat chicken wings from the grocery store, and I just season them, and you put them in, and you press the wings button, and then it gives you the wings.
See, that is so nice.
Does the air do that?
I know, right?
It's hot.
What is an air fryer?
It's a tiny little oven, but that is on cocaine. That's what it
It's
is.
an electric oven,
Yeah.
right? It's electric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My way
No,
of like,
it's a coal burning oven. Yeah. Like,
So that's
you
why
got to
it's-
load coal in there.
that explains the smell in your apartment.
yeah.
Because
And
my
my
way of
coal
making
loves-
wings is like so long. It's
Right
like,
in the oven.
Yeah, I make them
Yeah.
in the oven. You got to pull them out like the day before
You
to let
put-
the skin dry.
You put in. I just pat it off, and this is a food blog now, guys.
Sanji's cooking.
Sanji's fucking cooking.
That's our new segment, Sanji's cooking, and we talk about
Cooking with
recipes.
Sanji.
Wait, actually,
We find out what Sanji's cooking.
absolutely.
What's Mista eating? You don't get that. You don't get
You
that.
don't
Shut
get
up.
it yet.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Clayton is crying. Continue.
Okay. No, you put them in the air fryer, and literally like 25 minutes later, you just leave it, and then the skin is so. I like crispy.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like
so
Yeah.
it's
hungry.
perfect. It's
God, I
literally
want
just
that
perfect.
so
Yeah.
bad now.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Anyone else have a good week?
No.
I had a fine week. I did an improv show, and now
you,
I actually
you
did.
won.
Sorry, I did not do improv. The show has improv in the name, but it was a competition show, and now I'm going to be facing off against two other people at this table,
Yes.
Wow.
and I'm
Yeah.
coming for 'em.
And another person in this room who's playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we don't
Name drop.
talk about Max.
Okay.
He has headphones on, so he has
Redacted.
no idea what
I
he's
almost
talking
said instead of redacted, aborted. I'm
That's the same.
glad I caught myself, but then said it anyway.
Aborted.
Yeah.
Mom, I got a redaction. Remember the vine?
That was like
the
the
abortion-
most specific.
Remember the
Wow.
abortion vine?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Everyone tell me right now that they remember that before I,
I don't-
lose my... I
I don't
Wait,
remember
so
the
he
abortion
doesn't-
one.
You don't remember?
I don't. And
don't?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I have to show you
All
that
right.
later.
We got to turn on a Vine compilation somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
We gotta have
I've
one
actually
running.
always
Alexa,
got one
hit it.
in my Neuralink in my head.
Have you guys ever seen respectively for either One Piece or JoJo? Have you seen the JoJo characters as vines, or like characters as Vine compilation? You know,
Yes.
like
Yes.
where they
Yeah.
like edit the faces onto. It's so stupid,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's so
I've seen it with other properties I've been fans of.
I had a good week. I went back to
Okay.
Houston. I went
Alright.
back to Houston this week. Saw my family. Saw Depeche Mode in concert. It's pretty freaking live. Found out my mom is listening.
to the podcast.
I did
Oh,
send her.
no.
I sent her the podcast because she was like, "You're in a podcast?" I was like, and I explained it. I'm like, "Yeah, we just talk about like anime stuff you won't give a fuck about." And she was like, "That's okay. I'll still listen to it." And she did. She listened to the first 2 episodes and she really liked it. She
Aw.
really liked it.
That's
She
That's
thought-
sweet.
She thought we were all so funny.
Yeah,
Um,
his mom's the best.
Hey,
Yeah.
Josh's mom.
Yeah, Mrs. Josh. Sorry about things I said on this podcast.
No, be yourself. My mom's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a cool mom.
She's the cool
yeah.
mom.
I don't know if my mom is listening to the podcast. I haven't sent her it
Hi,
at
Miss
all.
Hayden.
Usually she does, but like when I talked to her about this, I like explained the entire concept of both shows, and she then didn't ask me to send her the link to the show. So I think I don't know.
My mom was like, because the first episode I'm like, oh, okay, well we're not actually really getting into it. That's more just introducing ourselves. I could see you kind of enjoying that. But I was like, the second episode, I'm like, were you? She was like, yeah, you guys really care about that bullshit you're talking about. I was like,
And
okay.
we do.
And
And
we
we
do.
do.
I mean,
True.
my mom can nerd out about stuff. Like my mom's like the
She would
biggest
have a Game of Thrones podcast.
She's like the biggest
yeah.
Game of Thrones fan ever. But like she just doesn't get anime or manga or anything like that.
Understandable.
It is understandable. I don't really get it either, honestly. Which is why I started this podcast secretly.
We are watching the live action versions of both of these.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which means we've watched no Josh. We're waiting until part 4.
Except for the part 4 live action
Yeah.
movie or whatever it was.
Which we will get to later. Which we
Mm-hmm.
will trust.
Yeah.
I'm
We will-
excited about that.
We will get to.
We're just gonna watch it and consume it as the big dance concert that I saw on YouTube a while ago. That was like a dance concert to all the JoJo openings, and they had a bunch of costumes on. I don't
even know what
just
you're talking
unlocked this memory in me. I
That's
have to
crazy.
find it. I'll send it.
That sounds amazing. But speaking of
JoJo.
Joe.
you have started, Clayton. You've started Stardust Crusaders Battle in Egypt, as it was called when it was airing on TV.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I sure did.
What'd you think?
What do I think? It's fun.
Yeah.
I made some allusions to Josh to make him scared and upset that there were some things I didn't like in these episodes, and that is the truth. There were definitely some things I didn't like in this episode, but I had a very fun time.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, the first thing that happens is we get like the fucking zoom in. It's super dramatic, and like the 3D shot of all of them standing as the camera like swivels around them.
Yeah.
Then he zooms in on JoJo, and he's like, "All right, it's about fucking
Didn't
time."
it remind you of like a Bollywood movie editing?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It was like so dramatic. And that, I feel like Bollywood aesthetics would go so hard in JoJo stuff.
Yep.
I
Like,
think
it fits so well.
for sure. Like live action anime stuff almost never works out, but I feel like if they did Bollywood style JoJo, that would be the key.
Yeah.
100%.
I would be surprised
That'd be awesome.
if Part 3's specific like direction, like its art direction and stuff, was not inspired by
yeah.
like Bollywood, especially the camera, the way they utilize like the camera in Part 3.
Hell yeah.
I don't
Especially
know
on
if
the
you know this,
high-budget
Josh, but
episodes.
it's actually there is no camera.
What?
Yeah,
What?
isn't that crazy?
How do they shoot
Is this
it?
not real?
No, it's not.
Is this not
How do
real?
they
What were we talking
record
about?
it?
You're dreaming.
What we're talking
I
about?
mean,
fiction.
nightmare.
No. But yeah, so you saw a new opening.
I
Yeah,
saw then,
yeah.
immediately after that, JoJo's like, let's fucking go, motherfuckers. And then I get a new opening. Had I heard people talking bad about this opening previously, even on this podcast, maybe?
Maybe
Yeah, I think
I don't know about talking.
I don't think we've have we
I'm not talking
have we
bad.
badmouthed any openings?
I don't think bad mouth, but I think people were talking about maybe this being one of the not as good ones.
Yeah.
This is a
that-
grower, typically for people.
Okay.
This one grows on people.
That also I think I've like it might have been just in any socials like hangout, it might have been mentioned. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I feel like I remember us talking about it.
But yeah, this is genuinely this one's a bit divisive, and you'll figure out why later. But this would be near the bottom of my list, and I do love it. I do love it.
Right off the bat, I sent this in our group chat. The first time I saw this, this became my favorite intro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's not, I think of the songs, it is definitely, it's got nothing on the song from part 2.
Yeah. For sure.
But the song in tandem with the visuals is just like so good, and it feels so perfect for like what they're trying to do in this part of the show. It feels like it is like, hey, you've been going, but now like the demons are here to get you. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And well, what did you like the pendulum swinging at the beginning, going through the generations?
That was very fun, especially showing it was very selective. It only showed characters really that are relevant to this story as well, and I like that. Yeah, new opening, fucking awesome. The ending where they're doing the ora ora ora, like that's so good. That's so good.
Yes, it was awesome.
It's got me hyped.
Never
Cool.
skip this intro.
I will never
Never.
skip this intro.
It's
They're gonna
great
do
that it's your
something
favorite.
funky in it. It's
Yeah.
weird that it's my favorite.
No, it's great that it's your favorite.
Great that it's my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah, I'm a big fan. As well as, to jump ahead a little bit, the outro.
Oh,
That's real nice. That's real nice.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Isn't it such a vibe?
It's such a vibe.
You're gonna. I think that I think there's no chance that by the end of part 3 you will not cry at that outro, like listening to
What
that.
are you talking about?
At least once.
I'm kidding. You're right.
Just it like.
This is gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna warn you.
You're shining a light in my eye.
I'm interrogating you.
Phone flashlight.
I'm gonna warn you right now. This might be going from part 3 to 4. Might be a new. I might be jumping too ahead, but for me, it was a new experience with JoJo where I actually didn't feel like I was ready to let go of this cast. With the other parts, I was like, all right, show me the next fucking thing. But going forward into part 4, I almost wasn't ready to like accept this new part into my heart because my boys, where are my boys? You know, this is a boys trip. This is a fucking boys trip.
True.
You were really excited about this dog.
I've been excited about this dog for a long time. Fuck this stupid dog.
He's not all bad.
He shows up. I could kind of right away, because the first thing that happens is he jumps and we get his character traits, which are that he likes to tear people's hair out. And when he, not in general, but when he is tearing people's hair out, he likes to fart.
Yeah.
And that is
completely
seemingly
understandable.
what this dog is about
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
And he likes coffee flavored gum.
Yes,
He likes
that too.
coffee flavored gum.
Yep.
He showed up and I was like, okay, well, that's not awesome. And then I was like, let's see him in a stand fight. And he doesn't, I'm sure he will. As of yet, he doesn't really do that.
Because his whole contribution is just getting thrown like a
Yes.
baseball.
Speaking of which, him getting thrown like a baseball, I was like about to jump out of my chair. I loved that moment so much.
I
love
whenever
it.
people this is super specific, but I love when people make edits and they include the scene of Star Platinum like Alice from Twilight, like softball pitching, or like not softball but like with the leg in the air and so,
like heavy overhand pitching
Yes.
this dog.
Jotaro was fed up with this dog. But Iggy does end up being very useful in the fight against his will.
Yeah, in a similar way that a rock might have. No, because he knew where it was, and so it was. That's the thing. He was useful. The ways that Iggy was useful only made me appreciate Jotaro more.
Yeah.
Because it was Jotaro being smart and you finding out how to use this dog.
Yes.
But with that being said, to talk about the stand fight a little bit, right off the bat, they're like, hey, we're here in Egypt. And this is the first like stand user where I'm like, this guy is like not fucking around and he like knows his shit.
And Duel's like pretty smooth.
Yes.
I like
him.
Jeb is a terrifying stand.
Yeah. I liked the whole fight a lot. Especially it gets to the ending bit is one of my favorite things so far. The Western like standoff.
Oh my god!
Where JoJo's standing right next to them and he drops his little cane and they're both waiting for it to hit the ground before they attack. And Star Platinum's like just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Did you like his
fantastic?
Did you like his little war cry after all that? Star Platinum's. He screams after that. He goes, ah! And then he disappears.
Yes,
really?
yeah. I do like that.
He wanted you to know.
He wants you to know because
Wants you
Jotaro
to
is
know.
standing there, just like cool and just collected as ever. But then his soul is screaming to the heavens how he's like, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the big dog.
I'm him.
Yeah, I'm him. Star Platinum knows he's him, even if Jotaro doesn't.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, especially the first moment, like right off the bat. As soon as Jotaro started running, I was like, "Oh, he's got something!" And then he picks up the dog and takes off, and I'm like, "Here we fucking go! Here we go, Jotaro."
What's cool is so the OVA, the original OVA for Part 3, starts on this battle. It goes till the end of Part 3.
Okay.
This was seen as like where they wanted to start because this was it came out literally as the manga had just ended. Then 8 years later, the same studio, I think, animated the first half, but it has a very different style. It's interesting. Completely tangential. Sorry, but yeah.
I showed Clayton the manga design of Iggy. Like OG Iggy look. I love that look so
His
much.
nasty
when he looks just fucking like a thing that should be put down.
Well, which he does in the first couple episodes. He looks more like that.
I greatly prefer the manga look because Iggy, he's like upsetting in the manga or in the anime, but
wait, what did you show him? Because it's pretty 1-to-1.
No, it's what it is.
Iggy has a
Hold
redesign in the manga, and the anime copies that redesign. Like he gets a facelift.
But the anime and the manga are never gonna look exactly this. There's like subtle differences between the mediums.
Hold on. So are you talking about his when you first meet him? What
he looked like a fucked up little monster.
Yeah.
And you prefer it in the manga.
This is what I showed him.
Let me.
Okay.
Yes.
But in these episodes, you see his facelift, right? You see Iggy just look. It may not notice it immediately, but he definitely.
I mean,
I didn't
right off the bat, I was like, okay, this dog looks kind of strange. But I think at no point did I see anything that looked quite like that.
Yeah.
And because it's already like Iggy's purpose in the crew is to be as of yet, is to be a fucked up little weirdo.
Well, yeah, he's being used against his will. He has no stake in this fight, you know?
Yeah, he shouldn't be here.
He shouldn't be here.
He certainly
the
shouldn't.
wild card
Joseph.
right now.
Joseph and Abdul just picked him up in New York, and they were like, listen, Mutt, one day we're going to use you. Over to the kennel.
I don't know.
With you.
Because obviously Iggy's gonna be so useful later, I'm sure. But right now it is like, Joseph, why? What were you thinking?
He's like torturing Polnareff. Like Polnareff can't get away with anything lately because of Iggy.
I do remember Iggy growing on me a lot.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, he probably will grow on you.
Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, but yeah. So this episode introduces a lot of important information, though. You've got the new stand naming convention. Right?
The 9 Egyptian gods.
Yes. So there's 9 stand users, including in Duel, that they now have to worry about, and that's not including
Whole Horse,
who's out and about, and of course
about.
Dio, who still has a tarot card.
The world.
So yeah, they have at least 11 guys they got to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I mean, aren't you tired? Jesus motherfucking Christ, dude.
I know.
So many guys.
So many guys.
There were so many guys.
But yeah, and also Holly has 2 weeks left before.
Yes, we get a time stamp as well. We get 2 weeks till your daughter dies.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Duel, the blind man. I think it's really interesting the way that they have to coalesce and work together to defeat him, because he's got such high range and his stand is so precise.
Yeah.
And people take some hits this episode.
Kakyoin gets his eyes ripped off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fucking crazy. Which unfortunately, I mean, you knew going into this, like this
our friend Ben. Our stupid
idiot friend of the show.
friend Ben,
Good friend.
gave a little spoiler. It wasn't that big of it, but he felt really bad about it.
And it will make sense why we were so upset about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, his.
I mean, to be clear, what Ben said was not this.
No, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Don't try to gaslight me.
No, wait. What did you hear? What did you?
Don't even try.
No, wait. I'm confused.
Ben said aloud what happens with Kakyoin, and he didn't say, I just remember that Kakyoin gets his eyes scratched.
He said Kakyoin's eyes, and we went, shut up! What did you...
I wasn't there. I was there.
Don't try.
No,
this.
I'm serious.
What actually happened?
What are you thinking happened?
What?
I'm not even playing this fucking game. Don't fuck with me.
What is going?
Do you want me to say it on the podcast?
Yes, I do.
Ben said, I just remembered that Kakyoin dies.
Okay.
That's not. He did not say Kakyoin's eyes, and you're not gonna wave your little magic wand
I'm sorry. That
into
is
my
so
brain.
funny that is. Oh my god. I'm gonna kill Ben. He did so much more damage than I thought. Well, I think this is a big misunderstanding, but I think this will all make
actually. You don't even understand how big of a
misunderstanding this is. You just think
I think you were trying to be like, remember when Ben said the thing? This is what he was talking about. This poor guy got his little eyes scratched.
No, I swear this is like. It doesn't seem like it, but this is a bigger spoiler than it seems.
I'm right along there with you because I think I was in the room, but I did not experience like whatever Ben said. I just witnessed the aftermath of Ben being like, "Oh no, I spoiled it."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be surprised if he said that, just because I don't know how that would make a lot of sense. I must have misheard him, or someone here misheard him.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Cockalini got his eyes exploded.
Yes.
And he's now in the hospital.
He got them scratched, but he said don't worry because one time his friend got a baseball thrown at his eye.
Don't worry.
I forgot about that.
Do not worry.
This is like this is another reason we have to watch the OVA, because there's this really funny translation, or the way that like Polnareff reacts in the dub whenever he gets his eyes scratched out is like, I'll show you later. Fuck it. I'll show you later. I don't know why am I talking about this? Why am I wasting our precious time?
He's in the little hospital now, and he's got his little bandages.
Yes.
They had to go to the hospital.
Geb, by the way. Smash.
Okay. The Fool?
The Fool? No, thank you.
Well, what do you think of The Fool?
So far, I'm not a fan thus far, but I feel like I have not seen.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like it would be strong.
There's a lot of potential.
I don't understand really like what its purpose is yet, or like how to use it in a fun way. It's because it feels like it could kind of do anything right now, and I'm curious to see how it is actually utilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's got a transforming monster truck made of sand.
Yeah. I don't really get why it looks like a hybrid dogster truck.
Dogs like cars.
Iggy loves.
Oh my
That's
God, you're right.
so true.
You're right.
He's always chasing
Sticking
cars.
his head out the window, chasing him.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know what he would do
If he caught it. It's crazy. That'd be crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and Duel kills himself.
He shoots himself, explodes his own brain, and then has a conversation with Jotaro. There's a hole in his head.
Jotaro was gonna spare him.
I know. Yeah. Well, because he was such a beast that Jotaro was like, that was an honorable fight. I won't kill you.
Yeah.
But he's like, I am about this Dio lifestyle, and I'm gonna kill my dang self.
Starting to see people that really treat him like a deity.
Yep.
Like Dio's like this.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just wondering, how you're interpreting how devoted to Dio everyone is. Like,
I mean, it seems like a cult.
You're right.
And to me, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Dio has, even from the first season, Dio has been like that fucking guy.
Yeah.
He is like the ultimate life form, and he's got it all figured out. Especially he's got Jonathan's big ass, Ripley ass body. And so to me, that just seems like the natural progression of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
I like because I appreciated when I watched it how it wasn't just like it made sense why people would go to such lengths for it. It wasn't just like the average henchman doing it, and then you're like, oh, he's doing it because he's a henchman in the story, and that's like the role, you know what I mean, storytelling shit.
To be fair, some of them are just paid off henchmen.
Oh yeah, but like
like Steely Dan wasn't about that life.
Yeah. Hold horses. What's his name?
Whole Horse. Hall & Oates.
At the end of this, there's also an after credit scene. And I was not going to watch the next episode that night. And then I got the after credit scene with mostly just Oingo. Oingo's the younger brother, right?
No, Oingo's the older brother. Boingo is the younger brother.
With most of the after credit scene was just Boingo and his little comic book. And that got me so excited that I was like, I am definitely watching the next
Aw.
episode.
Yeah.
There's an Araki self-insert
Which one?
in the after credits scene.
Oh, the one that
the
dies?
person that comes up and talks to Boingo is a Japanese mangaka who is traveling the world for inspiration for his comic book.
What?
Yeah.
And I don't know what Araki looks like, but it seems like the way an artist would draw themselves.
Hold on. Araki doesn't look. Araki's
Wait,
handsome, and I don't remember this guy being
sidebar,
handsome.
sidebar. That happened? What is that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually
Did we see him? Did you see him?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's okay.
The character.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see the character, and he's going, and the boy tells him that this guy's gonna fly out of a bus and into a telephone pole and get impaled.
Okay.
And he's like, "What a weird little comic book!" And then he goes and gets in it. The character's drawn kind of like Goku. Honestly, he's got like the big, pointy black hair, and like I think glasses even.
Okay,
I don't remember.
I just the way you described it, I thought it might have been like a different character that I was like, wait, he was in part 3, but yeah, but
Oh, yeah, no, it's not.
right.
It's,
I
yeah,
was
it's
like,
not him.
no
The-
way,
Araki
no
has
way,
a
I
few
missed
people
that.
people would classify as self-inserts. He likes to do that.
Yeah.
And now that we're entering the modern era with part 3, Araki might be doing that from time to time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome.
It's
always
great,
awesome.
and it's always fun. So yeah, Boingo.
You like Oingo Boingo, the artist, right?
I do.
So is
Yeah.
that why you were excited?
Not the only reason.
Okay.
Part of the reason for sure.
Yeah.
But I saw the comic book and I was just like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like,
I got to watch this one with Clayton
give it
too.
to me.
And did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like Oingo
I
Boingo?
loved this. Might be my favorite episode.
No way!
I forgot how like funny that
It
episode
is.
was.
That
It's
episode
so
is
funny.
so
It's
funny.
good.
Yeah. It is a blast.
Oh my god!
The thing, like, especially the whole conceit where the brother gets in, he's JoJo,
Yeah.
and they like force him into the car because it's so like Tom and Jerry in practice, but also the panel shows his head being exploded in half. So the whole time there's like
Yeah.
this dissonance of he's like, oh no, they have the orange, and it's like very cartoony, but he's like, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna fucking die in this car.
It's a farce of an episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really is.
Yes.
Like the Crusaders really, genuinely don't do anything. These
Yeah.
are self-defeating pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Oingo and Boingo
They don't know.
have two of, in my opinion, the worst stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Really?
Well, Kanoom is just a worse version of Yellow Temperance. It can only shapeshift, I think, his face.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
can't shapeshift his clothes, and it has no offensive ability. And then he's stuck in a car doing cigarette tricks. And then Toth, which is Boingo's stand, all it does is tell you the future, and then you can't do anything about it. It really doesn't help you at all.
But I to me, it seemed like it was implying that it was giving you kind of a schematic for like how to, like it seems
Yeah.
like Toth was kind of involved in these deaths because pretty much every page we saw was somebody dying.
Also, the fact that there are multiple ways it could work out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it could have actually been the real Jotaro who died,
Definitely.
but then I feel like if things had gone different, like there's multiple outcomes, even though it only seems like there's only one outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think there is some like wiggle room for changing things.
And I think in the hands of a different user could probably be utilized a lot better.
That's funny. If you think that, you really should read Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak.
What are you saying? What are you saying to me?
This is a spin-off manga that came up very recently.
Okay,
That
that is about Oingo and Boingo.
it is a sequel to Stardust Crusaders and a prequel to Part 4. It takes place between them.
Yeah.
And
What?
And it
Wait, you
has,
didn't know about this?
I did not know
and
about
it
Oh,
that.
yeah.
has- it's not written by Araki, but
Oh.
it is written by the next best guy who has written other officially published like JoJo material that is
Basically
not by
just
Araki.
like awesome fan fiction.
Yeah, he wrote Purple Haze Feedback,
which
which
I
is
love.
I
which
still need
we
to read
will
Purple Haze
be.
Feedback.
Which
Yes.
honestly, we should read
We
for the
ha-
podcast.
I
It's a
yeah.
light novel. It's a short light novel. it's the sequel to Part 5, and we gotta talk about
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this comic was written. I'm just saying, given everything you've told me about what you like about Part 3, I think Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak would be something that you really enjoy. But that's putting the cart before the goddamn vampire horse. Okay.
That's the second time you made that joke.
I know, and it will happen a third time.
Okay.
So yeah, we see some faces. We see Jotaro make some faces we've never seen before.
Yeah. Also, because I remember early on, we have another doppelganger situation with Yellow Temperance, and Kakyoin comes in, and they were like, "You are sunbathing in your uniform. This is the real Kakyoin." Jotaro is wearing a sleeveless denim jacket and a pink shirt, and his hat is twice the height, and completely made of hair.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah. Also, in one of these episodes, we see Jotaro's hat off of his head. Yeah. And it still has hair.
Yeah, during the
it's torn up.
Iggy fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about? Did you expect his hair to pop off like a Lego
that
piece?
Scared me. The look you gave me.
Well, that's the thing. He takes it off, and the hat is still hair.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want me to explain the whole thing to you right now?
I don't really get it either. I mean, I just gotta know that it is what it is.
So in the manga, when during Jotaro's first appearances and stuff, it's way more clear. But so his hat, he has worn this hat so much that there are holes in it, and it's all like torn up in the back. And his hair is kind of sticking out of those holes. And so that was like the prototype for like what was going on with his hair. And then it kind of just started melding together. So when the hat is off his head, those little spikes are like the fraying of the hat, like holes. And then when it's on his head, it's that, and also like his hair sticking out.
It gets really.
But
I'm excited for you to see Part 4.
But his hat, I'm really excited. Jotaro's hat is it's an alive like thing. Like
it's a beast. It's a creature.
Yes.
It has its own stand.
It has its own like.
It's the first. That's his like first appearance in the manga. So
okay.
It looks a little different.
So yeah, it will have it evolves for sure. Like
nice.
Yeah. At this point, like by the time this was animated, the way they drew it in the anime, it really is just like making fun. Like it's kind of like an inside joke. It's like, yeah, his hat is his hair and his hair is his hat. That's so.
And that is not something though that I guess Polnareff or Joseph are concerned about.
No. Yeah, they did get stick with like Polnareff and Joseph not really picking up on Polnareff 100%. I 100% believe that Polnareff would not know what's going on.
But
Joseph a little bit more, yeah, but
he's driving.
Do we ever get another Joseph fight? Be honest with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Not a solo Joseph fight.
Man.
Maybe not a solo Joseph, but pretty much the next best thing. Joseph is integral going. Like he will be.
Okay.
You actually. Next episode, I think you're gonna have a lot of nice, fun Joseph moments.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
What's
but
the
we
next
can't.
episode?
I better.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it, but we gotta wrap. We gotta get through this. Through these next couple episodes because. Okay, Polnareff offers him toilet paper and he dies. That's how that ends.
Yes. He goes running off. We get, like, the whole pacing of this episode and the way it's shot is just, like, so alien to anything that's come before it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you liked it.
And then, of course, Iggy does his Iggy thing and blows him up. In the comic panel, in Toth, we see Jotaro's head has been exploded in half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this guy just gets kind of blown up and gets hurt a little bit. I think it would have been funny if he did die.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have just added to it.
I
think it would have been great
when
if
he
he did
didn't
die.
Yeah. I did not love it. But these guys are still around. I got really hyped when Boingo was like, I'm gonna avenge my brother, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, oh shit, maybe he teams up with Whole Horse. Because that seemed like it would make fun. that seemed like it would be fun for me. But then they both got beaten up. But
Yeah.
I feel like these guys will be back. And I'm praying to God.
How would you think of the outro?
What'd you think of the Oingo Boingo outro?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Or just the art style in general also.
Yeah, the way they copied.
So fucking great. I loved it. The look of it all, amazing.
Looks crazy.
Yeah.
And the outro, very fun.
Yeah.
I got so excited. Hayden and I were watching it, and I just, like, my jaw just went slack. It was very good. And then, Anubis.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Anubis very much.
The stand or the episode?
The Stand.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
The episodes were fine. I didn't love them. There were moments where I was like, this is good. I liked Polnareff, his little showdown with the first Anubis wielder, Chaka,
Right.
Yes.
who, by the way,
Which
in
weird,
One Piece as well.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's another parallel.
I like their little showdown. The power is like interesting enough.
Yeah, what didn't you like exactly?
So the sword is the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's also Anubis, the like a genuine drawing and depiction of Anubis, the god of death, who haunts the stand and is seen by nobody.
Yeah.
Don't you me.
Yeah. A gun ate a fucking fruit, all right?
That's
Wait,
true.
what the fuck
That
are you
is-
talking about?
That is fucking true.
What is Anubis?
Anubis is a stand.
Is he the sword?
Yeah, Anubis, yes. Anubis is a stand. I think they explain it.
And his master died.
His master died.
He was a swordsmith.
There are stands who, of course, defy typical stand, rules. And this stand gets passed on from host to host. It's not the actual god Anubis, but it takes maybe the guy who initially had the stand had a fixation on the gods of Egypt, or was just a devoted worshiper of Anubis, so it just took on the persona of Anubis.
Yeah.
You know how there's like how ghosts exist, right?
In real life.
In real life, right? So like it's kind of like it's a soul. Basically, your soul gets left behind. That's what stands are. Stands are basically your soul.
This is a haunted sword.
The sword is haunted with the soul of this guy who died. He just happened to be a stand user, so his soul is the stand, and his stand is the ghost.
The initial
But the stand is not the sword.
The sword holds the stand.
Yeah.
Yes, but the real conceit of the stand is that it allows the sword wielder, the original sword wielder, you can presume that it allowed him to have incredible control of the sword and allow it to just phase through objects. That's like kind of the original ability, but you can kind of assume that it evolved to now this soul. The other ability that it takes abilities from host to host.
Anubis also can't touch anything.
What?
Huh?
Right? Because a stand can touch and grab things and move
Not
stuff.
necessarily.
No, well, the sword is. Well, hold on
Wait.
a minute. There's, they could touch strength. They could touch the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I'm saying
he's
Anubis, the spirit, the dog guy, can't. When the sword is hurling into the ocean, he is powerless to do anything about
Yes,
that.
because
his user is dead. Right? So that's kind of why he's like.
But also,
not
people who can
traditional.
see stands can't see him.
This is.
Oh, stands don't always reveal their avatars to people. Like that's a common thing where someone can use their stand and just not. Like for instance,
you will die if you try to apply actual rules.
Yeah,
that's what I think. That's the lesson here.
Wait, so is that what you're confused that people can't, that stand users can't see Anubis?
I was confused, and I think what Anubis is out. But let's move past trying to make sense of it.
Okay.
I think the fights were boring.
Really?
I do.
I could see that. I think there was more potential in a stand like that for the fights. Yeah.
Yes.
I really, for me, this is a highlight fight.
To me, it was just like, it was pretty much a guy with a sword, and he was doing the Taskmaster thing. And And both the people that fight him use the... I just thought it was funny because Polnareff, and he comes up with a new ability.
Well,
Not comes up with. He already has it.
Move,
he has his secret move where he shoots a thing and it ricochets and hits a guy. And then we also get the return of Starfinger. I just thought that the fights, it was kind of just like two guys swinging stuff at each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of people enjoy the aspect of like it pushes Jotaro more than he's ever been before. He has to actually get more, like he has to. Every time he uses a move, it gets learned by Anubis, who can then just apply it to his next host. So it becomes a matter of like, well, he has to get more creative, and then also seeing Star Platinum and Silver Chariot go at it. When Silver Chariot has two swords, I think that's just like something fans wanted to see.
Yeah, it's also like something I noticed that I forgot that I made me kind of enjoy this is like it is like a faster paced fight than most ever. Like, in most of the fight there was no, or at least in the chunk that I was watching with you, there was no like stopping and talking about what was going on. The fight just kept carrying on, which I think is sometimes a little rare in JoJo, and I enjoy about it, but I fully understand.
Yeah.
It's just,
I
it's
think
not a big creative power use, which is what JoJo is a lot of the time, you know?
Yeah. I think I have learned that the things that excite me in JoJo is when people are clever. And that's why I love Kakyoin, and that's why I love Jotaro. Is because usually Jotaro is not just a cool, strong guy. He's like, he's got it figured out.
Yeah.
And all of his solutions in this fight just felt like, I'm going to find a way to be faster. And even then, at the end, he got stabbed, and I guess it just didn't go inside of him. And then he just punched the sword a bunch.
Yeah.
To me, it was just lackluster. I mean, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's fine, but it was not awesome for me. I enjoyed the like comedy bit at the end where Anubis was getting hurled into the ocean.
The Nile, yes.
And yes, not of course not the ocean, but a river. It's not just a river. And yeah, that is where I stood on that.
Do you like it when he's like calling to the crabs and then they just walk by?
No,
You didn't like that?
not really.
Did you?
I loved Oingo and Boingo so much.
Yeah.
This is
For
not
that
how
to
I
be
thought-
after your favorite episode.
Yeah.
I really did not expect this to be. I'm delighted that I was surprised. Not what I expected your takeaway from this batch to be.
I think as well, I would have not had nearly as much to say about this if this was back in the days of like Strength and Yellow Temperance and stuff.
Yeah, I guess
But
this does feel like an earlier.
I feel like
three.
I've been getting a little bit pampered lately with Gab and with and with Oingo and Boingo. If things have been good, like quite good for quite a while.
The economy is
And
thriving.
yes,
Yeah.
and so when they came here and they were like Anubis, I was like, I don't think so. Sorry, Chan.
Yeah, I think for me it was like when I watched it was kind of a breath of fresh air where it was like, okay, I don't have to like. This is really fast paced, like you're saying, and it's just sword on sword, which you don't get a lot in JoJo. Actually, this might be the first time that we have a true sword fight of any kind with Polnareff and Chaka, and it's pretty well animated that initial fight. Like it's all in sunset and they're in the pillars.
I like that.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, can't all be winners.
Smash your bass.
Can't all smash your best.
That would hurt.
Point.
Uh-huh.
There's Anubis as well.
Yeah.
Pass. I'm not a furry.
Okay.
True.
Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
Oings and
Book.
the book I would have to pass. I would read it. I would certainly read it. And then face, I guess, smash.
Yeah. Actually,
You can look however you want.
He's got
So-
his face card.
Again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hit the slay button.
Uh-huh. Did you notice? I thought it was a fun detail how you see Jotaro reading an Ocean magazine after they have that fight with what's the High Priestess. He was like, being in the ocean was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what
I did not notice that.
he was reading
But I
that
like
whenever Polnareff was getting his barber treatment, which I was so funny that like he thinks he can after he got attacked by a stand user. He's like, I just really need a fresh cut. Honestly.
Yeah.
And then
My hat needs some
Yeah.
some
needs some trim up.
Needs a trim.
So he's reading an Ocean magazine, which is a manga original or an anime original detail. Remember that.
Okay.
Later. But anyway,
Pack that away.
Lastly, just a fun detail. Chaka is the first guy that gets. He's the first guy that gets possessed by Anubis. The second guy, the barber, his name is Khan. So, a little Chaka Khan reference for you. I always just love that little detail.
Yeah. Who's the kid?
The kid? I don't know.
Orphan.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Favorite
Michael
music
Jackson.
artist.
His name's Michael Jackson.
Oh, no.
No! Don't eat it.
Don't
eat
it.
the
Don't
mic.
eat the mic.
He just
Cleansing
soy
the
faced
mic.
so hard that he started eating the mic.
No.
But yeah, I think
Get a little bit of a tease for something coming next week. You see a hot lady in the post credits.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I said that so close to the mic and really loud. Yeah, needless to say, as soon as y'all leave, I am going to go watch that in my room.
I actually here's the thing, man.
What?
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later.
One
Anyway,
Piece.
We got to talk about One Piece.
One Piece
This is where I get my
One
sandwich
Piece
out. I start
time.
eating.
One Piece time. One Piece time.
Grr.
What did y'all think of the end of Alabasta?
That was so.
Hayden says yeah.
Whoa.
Adriana said it was so.
Awesome.
Yay.
It was great. Me and Josh cried.
Yes.
Despite this, though, I am beside myself with remorse because I do have to say I was a little underwhelmed with the end of Alabasta. A little bit. It
What
wasn't
are you
what I was
talking
expecting.
about?
I am
kidding
joking.
me?
I am fucking joking.
Show him the picture. Josh has a picture of his
took a
face
picture of my
directly
face.
after.
We'll put this. We'll put
My
this on the
feet, my
Twitter.
toes are literally. I'm
It's a
bouncing.
picture of Josh devastated
And crying.
like crying.
Yeah.
His face.
This was
there's
me at the
tears,
end last night when I read.
tears dripping down his face.
Literally, you started saying that my toes. I was like bouncing my feet up and down like a child. And now as well, y'all know actually what my tattoo is about.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Because last week y'all were like, "We know your tattoo," and I was like, "Let's talk about this next."
I
week."
was spoiled for that moment though at the end,
Boo.
but it did not. But I will say, didn't ruin it at all.
No.
Because if anything, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna hit so hard, and then it was like, I was also listening to like music, like kind of melancholy music while I was reading the end.
Uh-huh.
I started tearing up, and then at some point, I just like scrolled back up and saw Vivi's face and just started sobbing. This was a very, very good two volumes, and this was a very, very good ending. Loved this ending to Alabasta.
Was that
Fuck
your
yeah.
only crime? I had two crime
Me too.
moments.
I had
too.
3 tier counts. I had 3 my tier count is at 6 now.
Let's hear them all. What was
All right.
I know
everybody's?
too, but well, okay, you go first.
Yeah, so I had obviously the disembark, that moment, the end of them leaving Vivi and her being
Yes.
like bye. That was my cry count. My other one, Pell's sacrifice.
Yeah.
Pell's like taking the bomb up and Dark Knight Rises.
I was just thinking it was
himself.
Dark Knight
Yeah.
Rises.
Well, I thought you would think of Iron Giant.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't flying into the bomb, you know.
I guess.
For
it
me-
wasn't a nuclear warhead. and,
nuclear
there wasn't
war-
a
yeah.
child there. And
For me,
Right,
it
it
was,
wasn't literally
in
Iron Giant.
1969.
Yeah.
for me it was it was specifically that it wasn't actually him dying, which was very touching,
Yeah.
but it was the moment before when you see the flashback of Vivi
Yes.
hanging out
That
and
one
flying
panel.
with him. I immediately teared up. It
Yeah.
was so beautiful.
The
And we didn't even
panel-
know Penn that well. We just knew he was
I thought he was awesome.
we just
the
knew
whole
Pell was
time.
down. He was for the kingdom. He was for the people.
Liked him way better than Chaka.
Pell
Yeah.
is often cited as the MVP of Alabasta.
Oh, sure.
He is.
He
He is.
shows up. One of the first things that happen when like Croc and Nico Robin are running around is Pell shows up and he's like, "I am here to fight you to the death."
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's the one that saves Luffy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is the one that gets the bomb out of there and gives it. Pell is he rocks hard.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
Yeah.
they would have lost 100% without him.
Yeah.
Yep.
They would
Yeah.
have died.
They
They
would've
would have
died.
all actually
Everybody
died.
would have been dead.
It was
Yes.
hell of a bomb. It's like, why do you even need the Pluton if you got a bomb this big? But I guess
The Pluton can destroy
An
an
island.
Pluton is
That's true. No.
Nuclear.
Yeah, which also
bomb.
we found out about the Pluton was that it was not detailed in the poneglyph or poneglyph.
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 Poneglyph,
Yeah, the
by the
Poneglyph.
way,
Yeah.
burn that word into your mind. These are very important texts of
Based on each
historical
island?
significance.
Like for Alabaster, every island has one.
Not every island has one, but it will just be something. Just remember that.
Okay.
Cool.
I really did love the Polnaglef moment, like when it was just like having that moment of Croc and Nico Robin, like him being like, "All right, you're not useful to me anymore. I'm gonna kill you right now," and her being like, "I was ready for this for the moment." Like, and like it just.
Yeah.
It didn't call a bunch of attention to it, but then you immediately were like, okay, I understand completely everything Nico Robin did. And like her setting up her own safety and knowing that this was, I always love it when there's like villains like that and they know they're going to betray each other and you get to see them like kind of set up themselves
The girls are
to
fighting.
be good.
He said it like he said it. He said, "I never trusted anyone to begin with."
Yeah.
That was Croc's thing. But also, I do have a lot of questions about Nico Robin, like, which I'm sure we will get answers to. But like, was it this moment that she was preparing for whenever she helped Vivi uncover his identity? What was her ultimate like motivation for wanting to read the Poneglyph to begin with? Because that's why she even made the deal
Right.
to join Croc in the first place.
She went to him.
She went to him.
So I feel like she's got
a lot going on.
She wanted to be involved with Alabasta
for her
some
own
reason.
reasons.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious to see what more we will find out about her. I was surprised that she didn't show up much after she got incapacitated. But Luffy, it is mentioned that Luffy carried 2 people out of that tomb. Nico being, of course, one of them. They don't say it, but you know, I assume it's Nico Robin.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I realized while reading it that the King Cobra,
Yeah.
his name was King Cobra.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the snake,
Yeah.
and I didn't put that together until like halfway through,
Yeah.
like until volume 23, and
Which
I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
I didn't realize he was such a fucking pervert.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
We'll get to that later.
Well, we don't have to get to that. We
Yeah.
can just skip over that and not talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. But anyway, so Zoro starts off this volume, and he is curling a camel.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Just need to talk about that.
Why?
Yeah.
Zoro's training.
You've seen him do all kinds of
I
shit.
know, but Zoro goes off. Like, he's been going off in this arc lately.
Was that not last week?
That was. You're right. That felt too early. Sorry. We start off this, and Chaka is going jackal mode, which is so funny because
Right.
that's another thing. Anubis is a jackal.
Yep.
Yep.
And we have a jackal beast with Chaka.
Yeah.
But
Croc up there on the. What did y'all think of that? What did y'all
Dude.
think of the fucking Royal Guard who take
Oh
super
my-
suicide serum?
the cross thunder
and then
split
he-
attack, yeah, I love
yeah,
that.
Silly.
and then he doesn't fight them.
Yeah.
Silly
He
Billy.
just moves away, and it's like, yeah,
He's-
100%.
They are
Why would he
so-
fight them?
Why?
Honestly, it was just nice for a change to have someone actually die.
Also, like they didn't have to say that they were gonna die.
Uh-huh.
Like they could have just taken it and then not. Like the reason he didn't fight them was because
They didn't say it. They had marks on their arms. That's how they knew.
Chaka said something about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Because
Croc
knows.
Yeah.
Wait,
Or Croc found out, basically.
Yeah, because someone said about, oh my god, they took this thing. Otherwise,
Uh-huh.
he wouldn't have known that they were gonna die.
Even then, I think he still would have just cut them all in half, probably.
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
still would have won.
Adriana mentioned whenever we got to this part that Oda loves just creating guy squads.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've noticed
The
that
guy
in early
squad.
One Piece because Oda likes to. There's so many characters in One Piece, And later on, it just becomes like, okay, yeah, these are the characters we meet. But there's so many where it's like the Supersonic Duck Squadron,
yes,
or
which
like
is the best one.
Yeah.
Or the Kung Fu Jugans.
Yes.
Those are the best
yeah,
ones.
yeah. I think they should fight.
I know who would win. All I'm saying is I know who would win, and you're gonna be mad about it.
I'm so glad Karoo is alive.
Right.
I'm not surprised actually now. Now I have this I'll be honest, I have this expectation now that I am not expecting anyone in mortal danger to die.
Yeah.
Just based on Iguram coming back, Koza not dying.
How the fuck is Koza blinking even?
He got shot in the shoulder.
He got shot in the head.
he got shot in the shoulder several. He did not get shot in the head.
He got something in the
all
head.
I know is that he got shot. It was just like, oh, he got shot with a gun.
That is my thing that I've been like, is every single time I've seen someone get shot by a bullet, I'm like, they got shot in the head and they are dead. And every time they got shot in the shoulder. So I just assume that
Like, fool me
nobody
once.
can hit a head.
Usually, if a character is going to die, it will not be like, oh shit, that happened. It will be like, there will be a whole thing of like, and it's time for this character to die, and
They give the
now they
backstory
are
before.
dead. Yeah, like usually
Like Pell.
Oda does not just like, he does not do sudden surprise deaths.
Interesting.
We've talked about this before. It's, it's not always awesome. I think it's a thing, like you were saying, having your expectations adjusted a little bit will probably be helpful. That's probably smart.
Yeah. Pell's coming back.
Pell exploded.
Pell's coming back.
Yeah, so did
Exploded.
Ingram.
So did Iguram.
Iguram.
Which they,
Iguram.
by the way, which is interesting. They have not explained what the deal
No,
is
they
up with
did
Iguram's
not.
survival. So I'm assuming that's another
Well,
question with Nico Robin that we'll have.
Yeah, the
answered.
only thing that we don't know that would be that would matter for us to know about that was whether Nico Robin planned it or whether he just like escaped or just like happened to
I feel
survive.
like Nico Robin planned it.
Right, but we
Yeah.
don't know that. But that's the only like piece of information that's worth like knowing about. Other than that, like it's like, okay, no, he just survived, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so we get a little fighty fight.
Oh, there was the moment that I was like, because fucking Crocodile is an amazing villain. And when he was holding Vivi up, like choking her and holding her over the thing, and he let her drop, but instead of just letting go of his hand, he just turned it into sand.
Oh, that was
I was
sick
just
as
like,
hell.
you're so
Yeah.
fucking extra, and I love you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flow of these chapters, the pacing of these
Oh my-
chapters was so good.
When the leading up to the bomb going off was like
Oh my
so
God. The countdown?
intense. It was
Yeah.
like like you really were right there.
and there was
Yeah.
teamwork. There was so much teamwork.
Yeah.
Oh, scaling the building, the
That
bounce, the
was so
trampoline,
Oh, that's what I was. Oh my god.
the team trampoline.
That okay. When when they got on Sanji's foot and then he just like that was, I don't know why, but that specifically like made me go crazy. That was
And also,
awesome.
Like Zoro just falls to the ground. Like
Yes.
from
Yeah.
five
Zoro
stories.
took so much shit. He took
His
so
shirt
much-
is red
and
by
he
the end of
always does. He always does. I don't
Yeah.
know why it's like so visceral every time. He does every
He gets the
time.
hardest villains.
But-
Man. He's the baddest boys.
He gets beat the fuck up so
Yeah.
I don't think since we've seen Zoro like introduced, I don't think he's ever been fully healed.
No.
I think he's
He
going
is-
into
And
every
he keeps
single
training.
fight
He
hurt.
keeps fucking training.
He is like the phone case of the group.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he's
an otter box.
yeah, he's the otter box.
Yeah.
He just like every hit is like right on. Oh my god.
I got to shout out to Koza using that secret passageway so he could actually know what the fuck was going on with the
Yeah.
whole Baroque
Yeah.
Works thing. I have to ask, is it ever established like how Baroque Works interacts with the insurgency? Like, do they fund them? Because obviously there's Baroque agents like planted in the rebels, but like, do they fund them? Do they work directly with Koza? Because Koza doesn't seem to be familiar with Croc that well.
No, yeah. The rebellion and the insurgency is entirely people led. Croc is of course stoking the flames and like trying to make these two armies want to fight each other. And he's got his little guys planted, but they did not like fund them. There was no like official collaboration.
It was all manipulated, right? With the dance powder incident, they're like, let's make the king look like an asshole so that these people start a rebellion.
And we know that there were Baroque spies in both armies, so them being like, yeah, the king is awful, we should kill him.
Maybe I misread whenever they initially got into Baroque works, like utopian ideals. Mm-hmm. Maybe I kind of misread that as like, oh, they are literally the rebellion, but they're just led by an evil guy. But I like this better, where the rebels are decent people. They're just manipulated. It's like they're being Palpatine.
Yeah,
you know. So
I did really love the thing of having the Baroque work agents on both sides that kept sabotaging everything.
Yep.
That was such a great...
Yeah.
Because it was just like, God, they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
And they just keep getting outplayed a little bit.
They really had to work for it.
Yeah.
is dotting all his I's and crossing all his T's.
It was a really, really, really solid plan from like the villain. Yeah, it was not like didn't have you thinking like, oh, it's the cracks in the armor that is for every that's how the heroes win or whatever. It was like, it was pretty solid.
Yeah, truly
plan.
The only reason Luffy won is because he just punched him hard enough. And I love that.
Yeah. Luffy had to truly got tested more than ever before, to the point that he was having to use his own fucking blood.
Yes.
God,
that fight was awesome
so
too.
fucking awesome.
That fight in the tomb, and I would want to watch that animated too.
That was a very good fight.
Yeah.
That is maybe I gotta say, probably my favorite fight thus far. Was maybe, aside from Zoro taking down all the guys on Whiskey Peak.
That's fun.
But I gotta say, Luffy versus Croc was drawn out. It had like 3 rounds, really.
Yeah. Luffy kind of lost twice.
He
came back from his first loss and lost again.
He got dried up and then he had to spit his own water out into the sky so that he could like be rejuvenated by it later, which was really awesome.
What did y'all think of Water Luffy?
Yeah.
I was really funny.
Is there a Funko Pop called Water Luffy?
Oh man, I don't think so. There's surely figures, but I don't think Funko.
That's so funny.
I gotta say, man, I think inflation Luffy's growing on me. I mean that, and I mean every connotation. I'm kidding.
We're gonna.
He is literally growing.
He is literally growing. But no, it is funny how every time he does inflate, the fight does get very entertaining. And he has. I just like him saying, "Yeah, I'm Water Luffy. I'm Water Luffy now. Ooh, I got a big water belly." Like, shut up, dude. Stop saying that shit.
It's like something like he had a dream and he woke up and he's like, wrote down on his notes, Water Luffy, and then went back to sleep. And I was like, I'll figure out what that means.
I do like that his wounds took him out where he had to sleep them off.
Yeah.
However, what the fuck? Does he have a healing factor now? Does he just have an insane Wolverine healing factor?
I mean, yeah.
Josh,
they all do.
how many times does Clayton have to say that
This is another level where they establish. No, this is not on me. This is not on me. They established in the beginning that if he gets sliced, like, he's bulletproof, but if he gets sliced, that's a problem.
It was. He was asleep for 3 days.
He got a blade lodged in his head in Sura Village.
He also got poisoned, and they just say, "Oh yeah, he walked it off." They don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't have human bodies.
Yeah, he's strong.
I need Oda to say that. I need him to say that in the text.
Clayton is saying that.
It is not Oda.
I
trust
think
Clayton?
Oda is doing everything he can to say it, because it's just a thing of the world. It's like people can get their bodies to the point, and I promise you, I'm not just saying stuff. This will become a very noticeable thing in the nearish future of like what it means to become like a true pirate warrior, and like what kind of creature that is.
Good.
It's just they're never going to talk about the science of it. They're never going to talk about like he has upgraded to a level 2 pirate god man. It's only ever just going to be like these people are myths.
Yeah. It's like they have they are leveling up. They're getting more hit points, but like no one talks about how many hit points everyone. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just
you
the
guys
truth.
sound like a bunch of dweebs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a part in this thing. We're probably a few months of our time, and I'm gonna go, Josh, look at this right here, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I think I understand. What's
I'm
happening.
so excited for that. No, I want that more than anything.
Yeah,
I want to suspend my disbelief.
people are gonna keep getting hurt till then.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay. Luffy's return was amazing.
Oh yeah.
When he's riding Pell and he saves Vivi, and I told you this earlier off the mic, but there was the first tear up in a while where she's like, the people can't hear me, they won't stop fighting, and Luffy's like, don't worry, I can hear your voice, and he's just he's cheesing and she's crying. It's like these two have become so close, they've been through so much together, and fuck, man, I love Luffy so much. Like it's a really beautiful moment. And then, of course, the fight with Croc continues. There's a fun little move. That I know y'all caught onto this. That Croc calls out, and it's literally the name of a JoJo villain that you will meet much later
Oh
down
my
the line.
god! Yeah, that's right.
You don't remember his name?
I don't remember who that is.
Why don't we just? Are we gonna? We could say it, right?
Sable?
Why wouldn't we?
Sekko.
Yeah. He said ground Sekko was the move where he like breaks up the ground
look
and
it up. You'll
stuff.
remember.
You'll remember this guy, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Also, I'm interested about the language stuff that's going on because I could have just Googled it, but as far as I can tell, it's not Spanish or French or it's like a common the stuff that he and Nico Robin says.
About what?
Like. Okay, ground secco is Italian, and then she says some
Trenta Fleur or
Trenta
Trenta Fleur.
Fleurs. I don't even know. I think Fleurs is French. I don't know.
Trenta is Spanish.
Is Spanish.
Nico Robin's canon, and again in air quotes, like
ethnicity,
nationality.
Yeah.
Translated. She is Russian. And that is not what Tres Fleurs comes from.
Yeah.
I believe that is Spanish. What she's saying there, like fleur.
Well, flores is Spanish for flowers. Not
Oh.
Fliel is French.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could it be a fault of our translation?
maybe.
Because
It might be, but no. What y'all are saying is what she says.
Okay.
Like that is the correct thing.
That is
So.
Google-
really
yeah.
sick that Nico Robin
Google
is like,
says Fleurs.
I'm gonna
is
imagine her
French.
with a Russian accent now, and that's gonna do things. But anyway, Nico Robin goes sicko mode.
yeah, she did take out a whole
Her
army.
Power
ability is
is-
amazing.
Yeah.
She
So
pushes
good.
an army down the stairs, and then she takes out she blitzes the Marines and Tashigi.
Honestly, like might be one of the most powerful powers I've seen so far.
I
crazy.
gotta say, it's weird that Oda doesn't really put much effort into differentiating the female character designs. Outfits aside, the outfits are very unique, but if not very showy. But because he literally, in terms of his characters, all the women are the most layered characters.
Yeah.
He puts all the character juice in the women characters that he draws insanely.
Yeah.
And it's
A
like
side
just a
effect
weird.
of the character juice is that it does it has a lot of estrogen in it. And
It has a lot of
man.
cosmetic surgery juice in it too.
yeah.
But
It is very because the probably of the 5 best written characters of everything we've seen so far, I mean 3 of them are Nami, Vivi, Robin. Like they're so cool.
Tashigi, I think she's one of the most
Tashigi's
interesting
awesome.
characters.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, the 4 most interesting characters are women right now. Which
Alvira?
Yep. Yeah, you said it. I totally remembered her. But and I guess there are more male characters in general, but I feel like he tends to give the male characters pretty not to say one-dimensional kind of profiles, but he definitely gives them like a focus. Mm-hmm. There's definitely like a gag that each one has. But with the women, there's a lot going on, and that's nice. But when it comes to the presentation of these women, this it's getting a little sketchy.
I think we should just get it over with and talk about the bath stuff.
Guys, what happened in the bath?
Oh.
Well,
God.
some really cute stuff happened
Yeah,
with the
it
boys.
was really funny because Clayton and I both we read everything the day after recording, and
Clayton
we
just
were
shinji
sitting
posed.
hanging out, and we get a text from Josh in our little group chat that has like the panel of Zorro scrubbing Chopper,
yeah.
and he
That was
just like sent
cute.
it, and it was just like, this is such a wholesome moment. And Clayton and I looked at each other, and we were like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be
'Cause
like
it is-
5 seconds until he turns around and has to correct that.
Yeah.
It's so great, and seeing like Usopp and Luffy's little butts when they're running around.
Yeah.
It's like having so much
look
Yeah.
at these
fun,
guys.
and like everyone's vibing, and the king is being really cool by bathing with them like he's a peasant and just chilling, and then of course Sanji. I knew this was gonna happen. Sanji's gonna be like, well, where are the white women at? And then he's gonna do that, which sucks on its own. But then the king, well, like after everyone scolds him, like fuck you, Sanji. Sanji, stop being an idiot.
Says the Vivi's in there. He says that she's in
Uh-huh.
there specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the king is like,
And-
oh, it's over there.
And then also looks over the wall
Looks
at
over
the
the
bathhouse that his daughter is in. That
Yeah.
he know like
And
what
I think that's even like the biggest character assassination there is the Ingram looks
Also
over
looks-
as
Oh my
well,
God.
and
Yeah.
it's just like no,
the
no, he
only
shouldn't.
person who doesn't is Zorro.
Which is awesome.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
Zorro's gay. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gay.
Zorro
But-
Clayton's
is
right.
gay.
or he's just a fucking respectful.
But also, he wouldn't.
He's a
love
fucking
it. And that's the
respectful.
thing. That's the thing about this
He wouldn't.
is that
No.
it isn't. The issue here is that realistically, if all of the Straw Hats were being written to be themselves,
Yeah.
none of them would do this. None of them, even Sanji.
Sanji would do this.
Sanji
No.
would never do something like that.
No, Sanji. I feel like Luke. Sorry, my mic just fell.
Josh was just we were like trying to he double booked and he had to record his Lego death sound effect in the same recording as this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's what that was.
Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were talking about this after you said this is the second worst thing that happens in One
Oh,
Piece,
God.
right?
It's probably like the third or fifth worst.
The other, there's something not great later.
Yeah.
Here's
It's at a similar level to this.
Okay.
Look, Sanji doesn't even do something anywhere near like this. Sanji is revealed to be a villain worse than Cobra, and that's all I'll say.
that you shouldn't have said that.
Oh.
What do you mean?
'Cause now
Now our minds are going crazy.
now I'm like, well, I can't.
the
now I can't trust
scariest
him.
thing is
It's
the
okay.
unknown.
I think
I've just
we're-
lost Sanji.
I mean, it's an Oda thing. It's not a Sanji. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, where it's like Oda's
Yeah,
like
the-
Sanji would say this right now, and then it's
And
like,
everyone's
oh
like, no, he
man,
wouldn't, you
yeah.
yeah, that's how
idiot.
it does feel like Oda is.
Oda
to-
doesn't know Sanji as well as I do.
No,
He's
it was like,
writing the jokes, not the characters. The,
yes.
the jokes in quotation marks,
Dude,
like
if
that's funny.
Here's the thing: it still it sucks, but it sucks so much more that Igaram and the King are looking. If
Yeah.
they were not there, I would have been like, this sucked. Nami showed them all. Now they've all seen Nami's titties. Even Chopper, who is doing his reverse peek.
Oh my god!
Which was actually so
I hated that. I actually laughed really hard at that.
I didn't notice that. I
Also-
think I just
Yeah.
wasn't trying
It's
to
also
look.
just
Also, Luffy is just looking because he's like Luffy definitely.
It's like, what's going on?
He's like, what's all the fuss about?
yeah, because Luffy is
He didn't give a
basically like Luffy. You will see throughout the thing. Luffy's ace. That's my take on that, and I stand by it. And it will be
Yeah.
kind of proven
No,
time
his
and again.
brother is Ace.
Did you even read?
Were you
And
just looking
then
at the
Chopper
pictures
as
You just
well.
Yeah.
It is also confirmed. Chopper does not find anything sexual about humans in general.
Yeah, he's a reindeer.
And yet he's up there.
Well, the
He's a
camel
reindeer.
definitely does. Eyelashes
The
does.
camel is a fucking freak.
Eyelashes was at dinner,
Yeah.
which was hilarious.
I wouldn't have invited that guy.
Me neither.
You sounded like you were 5 years old when you said that.
He's stinky.
But everything leading up to that. Sorry, go
Sorry, I
ahead.
was gonna say, real quick on dinner. I
was gonna say.
found one of my favorite running gags in One Piece is the talking with the mouthful
Yeah.
bits.
Yes,
because
yes.
they have like the little thing where they'll be like, and then in the
translates.
little translation it'll be like, I want some more dinner, please.
Yeah.
And I love reading that and then reading what was written again and like
Seeing how it sounds like it phonetically.
and seeing the ways that like that joke is used to also amplify the amount of food they're eating.
Yeah.
Because each time we do it, it's like gets a little bit less like what the actual words are.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome. I love that bit so much.
It's cute.
Yeah. The dinner, everything,
Yeah.
everything with the
All of them
after
sleeping.
the rain came back and they're just having they're having sleepovers. They're having a little glamp vacation in the palace. It was so just fun and cathartic because they've been through so much this saga. They've been through so much, and this is their big like celebration. This was one of the funnest celebration post-battle celebrations we've seen in One Piece.
Because
so
after the battle, what did y'all think of the moment where they're like, everything good, Vivi? You're good? Okay, yeah, go to the palace. And then all of the Straw Hats just full pass out in that alley.
So good.
So good.
I liked that moment a lot.
Tashigi lets them go. And she's so torn up about it. I loved that.
Yeah.
Loved
Also,
that.
I liked the moment where they see Croc like getting kicked into the sky, and they're just all are like, "Oh my god, that means Luffy won!" And they all like have that moment, or they
Because also the rain was gone. Crocodile dries things up, so Luffy explodes him, and the rain.
And the rain is back. Well,
Yeah.
and also they had a rainmaker that I guess that was off the coast that I guess was stealing all the rain by making it elsewhere. Right? Is that also what that was about? So that's how he was keeping it so dry, aside from his own abilities, which I liked that detail a lot.
Yeah.
But because also that gives the Marines something to do. Then they have to go chase after that, and then there's developments there. But sorry, just getting back to. Before we actually get into the meat of the battle, the post-battle Ewok celebration that happens after every little like arc is what I look forward to the most at this point because it's
really good.
So nice because they've all trauma bonded just a little more, and now they're just hanging out, and it's so beautiful.
Really, like when they pull that distinct and they juxtapose it with like the moment that they're leaving and the whole castle is quiet, even though we haven't seen too much of it. Like, they really made you feel like.
And Vivi was like,
she's still
"Oh, Karoo, there's no more this guy doing this, and no more this guy doing that, and no more of this."
She's still sleeping in the infirmary, not in her bedroom.
Well, I think because Karoo was still in the infirmary, right? Or maybe they were just hanging out there.
I like to think that she just missed her pals.
Yeah.
You know,
And
for a second, I thought we were gonna get her. I thought she was gonna.
I
become
know,
a Straw
right?
Hat.
I did a
was
little
like,
bit too.
Oh, come on, please.
if I didn't know what all of the Straw Hats up to the present look like, I would have really been rooting for it. I mean, I was rooting for it anyway, but I really would have been on the edge. But I did know that she was not going to be a Straw Hat, and that was kind of beautiful. I like that Oda, in a way, it felt like he kind of took a risk that way, where he had this person really become like a dear member of the crew, just for them to need to return to their prior duties. And but the cast on its own is still strong enough.
Vivi, recently I talked about this a couple episodes ago. There was a world popularity poll for the characters of One Piece. Vivi, I think, was still somewhere in the top 10. People love Vivi. She's a very beloved character.
She's the Padme of One Piece, dude.
Pretty much.
She's awesome. It was really
Her goodbye was so sweet.
Yeah.
We can't talk about that. I don't know if we can talk about that
Why?
yet. I think that should be the last thing we talk about. No.
What else is there to talk about?
The whole battle.
Yeah, the blockade that they got to push through. Where'd we get Bon Clay? Bon Clay friend.
Bon Clay is their
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
Bon Clay
Bon Clay
said, you can forget the genders, but you can't forget humanity.
That's true. He did say.
He said literally that.
Yeah, just
Verbatim.
just the gist of it. Yeah.
And new Marine person.
Oh, Django
Yes.
also is a Marine.
Django and Full Body.
yeah.
I literally didn't realize. So Full Body obviously was in the chapter cover story with Django, but I could not place where I had seen him before. I completely forgot he was the guy that we meet when we meet Sanji.
Yeah.
He was the guy that Sanji served dinner.
What's this fly doing in my soup?
The backstroke.
I think it's a
like he's having a little swim.
But yeah, that's funny that I finally put together what that was all about. Looks like he had some character development.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah, because Crocodile got arrested. He's taken into Marine custody,
Yep.
right?
Stripped of his warlord
Forever.
status. He is no longer
Interesting.
government
Ever.
sanctioned.
Yeah.
There are now only 6 warlords of
That
the
is
sea.
so-
They are down a warlord, which that's big.
Uh-huh.
Also,
The Marines took credit for it.
the Marines took credit for it.
And the
in a way.
bounties are so big now.
Luffy now has 100 million berry bounty.
Yeah.
And Zoro got a bounty
Zoro got
too.
60
Zorro
million.
got a 60 mil bounty.
Yeah.
What about the others?
They've
The
been
others-
going based off of like, oh, he beat this guy who had 100 million bounty. I see what you're getting at. There's definitely grounds to be like, oh, he beat one of the 7 warlords of the sea. That kind of means he's warlord material,
Yeah.
doesn't it? You
Yeah.
know.
I assume in the next 50 chapters, I'm making a guess that in the next 50 chapters, Marines are gonna try to talk to Luffy about. Maybe not 50. I don't know. I feel like pretty soon
Talk to Luffy
we're
about
going to
what?
get that moment of the Marines coming and being like, hey, you should be a government sanctioned pirate.
Well, maybe Smoker would push for that.
I think so.
don't
I
know.
think
Yeah.
I think there's been enough that like the Marines are going to I think it's going to happen soon. That Luffy's going to get that offer and he's going to fully make a villain of the Marines.
One thing about that, though, the purpose of the warlords is, of course, that they are brought in by the Marines because they as pirates who plunder,
Yeah.
and as pirates who get money.
Yeah.
They like plunder pirates, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so-
usually.
So and then they give the winnings, some of it they like pay taxes basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess I don't know. I still see them offering that to Luffy.
That makes sense.
At some point soon.
Yeah,
Being
maybe
like, hey, go take
offering
out
it.
these other fucking
Yeah.
pirates, and Luffy's gonna be like, no, and they're gonna be like, all right, we'll kill you now.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, even though I think this so far is the most developed, maybe the best that One Piece has offered thus far, I see still a lot of room for improvement and potential, in the sense that like still with even that final fight with if I'm being picky, that final fight with Croc between him and Luffy, there still was a moment where it felt kind of like tropey, where he had to be clever to a degree, but he wasn't going like, he didn't have to use like 400 IQ points to be like, okay, I got to dodge, and then eventually I just need to punch him so hard that he goes through the bedrock. It kind of felt like, first off, I don't know if we've seen him pull off a feat that strong thus far. So it was kind of like, okay, he's pushing his limits out of nowhere. That was just something for me that kind of was like, this still
Like-
felt like the fight could have been more developed. It could have been
Like,
a little more clever.
You're wanting more of like more talk about what's happening in the fight, like a more vocalized fight. Because I felt like
Or more strategy.
More
What-
strategy. There wasn't a lot of strategy going on this fight. It was very well paced and it was very well
Why are you
illustrated.
expecting that from Luffy is my question.
I'm not expecting it from Luffy. I'm hoping for it at some point because there is a trend of the fights becoming more interesting. It's just I'm still waiting for it to hit that point where I'm like, this is an amazing fight. Like, you know,
because I feel like we got a lot of that. We got like a lot of. It's just not being like vocalized as much. Like we got the point where Luffy punched the sand splitter because he was like, oh, if I just harden it, he'd punch it, and it got rid of it.
yeah, no, there was
Remember that?
some.
And then like there's a lot of moments like I just don't think it's being vocalized because I think that that's one of the things that like keeps the fight pacing so good is they're not stopping to talk about
I'm not
what
really
their plans
I'm not
are.
really talking about they need to discuss it. What I mean is it mainly had to do with the ending of the fight, because throughout the fight there's a lot of problem solving where Luffy is having to figure out how to even touch Croc and having to utilize resources to do so. When it comes to the end, though, the way it ends up is just that, like, okay, Luffy can touch him, and like now he's going to kind of out of nowhere be the strongest he's ever been, which didn't feel as earned as I would have hoped. Does that make sense? Like it felt like the strategy part was kind of thrown off to the wayside. He has holes in him, he has poison in him, and yet he can still just, it just feels not super earned. That's all I mean. His victories at the end, I'm still waiting for it all to feel completely earned.
I think that it would be beneficial to you. It sounds like you have a lot of expectations about like specific ways for the fight to go or like specific stuff that you're looking for. I think you would have a better time if you were more like, I don't want to say open-minded, not that you're like not open-minded about media. It's just like with this, it just feels like you're expecting like a very specific kind of fight.
Not really.
I mean,
I'm expecting basic dynamics of like just fights in general, like that are just not always employed.
I'm just saying you have a lot of like you've been saying I would like to see this, I would like to see that, I would like to see more of this and this and that.
It's more like this. I think the way I'm wording it is giving the wrong idea. It's more like I'm finding my investment level being sort of, it oscillates. And then when that happens, I have to kind of analyze why that's happening, right? Because I'm all in, and then something happens, and I'm like, okay, well, this is my reaction to that. Why do I feel that way? And this is just my analysis as to why I feel that way. I could be wrong. There could be moments where the exact same kind of strategy by Oda is employed in a fight, but it's just done differently enough, or the context makes it just completely satisfying. But for a final fight in a saga, while this was very good, I guess part of me was hoping it would be a bit more climactic in that sense. What really sticks the landing for me is the character choices outside of the fights, who they align with, all the politics of it, everything that Koza and Cobra and Croc represent, and the way that those choices interplay is beautiful. And I think that for me delivers. I guess I'd like the fights to feel more in line with that level of satisfaction. Not in any specific way, really. Because there's a lot of ways for these fights to improve. And to be fair, whenever I hear about One Piece fights and how good they are, I'm hearing typically about stuff that's way later down the line. I don't hear about the stuff that I've read so far, and I think Oda is just. I think he's cutting his teeth. That's my analysis.
Yeah, I think here's what I'll say. These are not like the best fights in One Piece. The Luffy versus Croc fight I like a lot. I think it is like, I don't know. One Piece fights are never going to be puzzles. Like in for example, JoJo's. They're trying to accomplish like a totally different thing in One Piece, where it's like all these rules, how do they fit into each other? One Piece is the fights are about a battle of emotional ideals. It is about Luffy like putting himself on the line and like finding a way to push through. And I think, to me at least, the reason that I go so crazy for this fight is not like, you know, I like, of course, when Luffy finds his clever ways to, like, I like when he does the gum shotgun and makes his arm go blah, 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 and do all that stuff. For me, I see the end of this fight and I'm like, fuck yeah, Luffy, like, gave it his everything and he pushed through. And also the Gum Storm is, I think, a really cool, clever usage of his abilities to attack Croc in a way that is crazy, to shove him up against bedrock and punch him while flying towards him 1,000 times. I think it's very cool. I think as well, as far as expectations go, I think it does kind of sound like you want things from One Piece fights that it is not trying to do.
I'm not really looking. You said puzzle. I'm not looking for puzzles necessarily.
These are not strategic battles always, though. I think, so most fights, there's a lot of different ways to do a battle. And this One Piece is not super concerned with like strategy. We're very rarely going to like see inside the person's mind and like get walked through their plan or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're gonna win these fights because you want it more too. I think is like, and that's where it's like when you talk about it being a little unsatisfying at the end or not feeling like it's earned. I feel like the way it was earned is not necessarily like through the fight, but through the ideals, where it's like Luffy earned the victory because, unlike Crocodile, he chose to trust people, and those people trusted him, and that gives him the power to fucking beat Crocodile. And it's not going to be like a powering through and getting stronger. It's just going to be about wanting it more.
That I loved. I loved that whole bit. I just am like, I don't know.
I think it's just a matter of your preference.
I think One Piece fights, they don't necessarily fall under what I prefer from anime fights, and they do feel, again, this is still something that came out in the early aughts, I think so. So like, it is probably gonna feel a little more tropey. That aside, these are mainly nitpicks. I still enjoyed the fight. Maybe One Piece just doesn't have the style of fights that I do most prefer, but I'm just trying to. At the same time, I'm like, I'm not really going in with expectations of like specific things I want to see happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to give my little hot take on that. But yeah, I think the last thing I guess we want to talk about is the goodbye, the switcheroo with Igaram.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
it's
I think we're time wise, we're really cruising. So I think we can make this last part quick. But yeah, what'd y'all think of their little arm goodbye?
That was.
Have y'all seen those X's anywhere?
On Clayton's arm.
I get why you got that tattoo.
Yeah.
It was like it was such a great moment because when I was reading it, I scrolled to that part, and as soon as they said we can't say anything, but then we can't do anything obvious or whatever, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna use the X's. And then right after, it was such a good, like, you just make that connection in your head, and then they deliver on it, and it's like so awesome,
but also
heartwarming.
What I really love about it is how it highlights the way that they are still looking out for Vivi, because they could have just said goodbye, but they're like, the Navy's listening. It's symbolic not just of their connection, but of just like how deeply they care for each other. The fact that they chose to do it that way in a conscientious manner. And God, I fucking loved it so much. I loved the pacing of seeing like it cutting between Vivi's speech and the kingdom, and then the Straw Hats waiting for her, and like there's the pacing of that last chapter was so beautiful. This is one of my favorite chapters in One Piece so far. Seeing Vivi like go back in her mind to when she and Igaram first discussed like breaking into Baroque works, and now like how it's all come to pass. It's just so gorgeous, and that shot of them with their hands up, man, I just looked at it for like 5 minutes. It was so amazing. Vivi is great. I hope we see more of her.
I hope we see more of who's her partner, Mr. 9, Mr. 8?
Mr. 9, I believe.
I want him to pop up again. I want to see what he feels about everything that happened.
Yeah. Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day, by the way, made an appearance, and I'm glad we didn't have to deal with them too much.
No.
Cool. Also, was Mr. 7 the one that Zoro like beat up? He talks about he beat the shit out of one of them.
Yes, which is what I think, because that's not the guy that Zoro fought. I believe was Mr. Maybe that was Mr. 9. Okay. Zoro fought a guy. There's a guy at the thing. They're not the same guy. There's a design that Oda did for the guy that Zoro did fight, and he is not that.
Oh,
guy.
okay.
But With that being said, happy One Piece, y'all.
Happy One
Happy
Piece.
Happy One
All right.
Piece.
That was a
What's
great
Clayton
ending.
watching next week?
Well, are we going to talk
We
about
got a
how-
whole different segment.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
So I was thinking, crazy, that we have been talking about the two of these stories a whole bunch, but it's been like mostly separate. But I don't know. I was thinking we have a little segment where we talk about the similarities and the differences and how they relate to each other, and that's So, crazy, right?
Yeah.
We got sand and sand.
yes,
We've been on a double
we've
sand arc
definitely-
recently.
Sand Fruit and the Fool?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right. Clayton mentioned that there was like a similarity between which stand and a couple stands and then a couple.
Yeah,
different
there were several parallels. One, we got Shaka in both of these.
Yes.
We've got the Face, who is Bon Clay, the Face stand.
Oh
which
yeah.
is Bon
Shape
Clay.
shifting.
Canoe.
There is a sword that can cut what it chooses to cut. There is a god of death, much like Mr. Pluton.
Yeah.
The
There
jackal shows up.
The Egyptian stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Totally.
in Egypt now,
We're right
and we
there.
are in One Piece Egypt.
Yes.
Yeah, and sand stand,
Sand stand.
Boom.
all kinds of stuff.
Iggy and Crocs.
I would not
both
be
have stands.
surprised. Just gonna say it again
Okay.
because Part 3 came out.
Uh-huh.
Many
Oh
years
my
before.
god.
Oda ripped off Egypt from part
He was
3.
inspired. I mean, clearly it's not a ripoff in any way, but like he totally like. Here's the thing. I know he's read JoJo. I know he did.
I'm sure he took a lot of stuff.
He
It's
drew-
Egypt. It's
I
sand.
It's a guy that turns into sand.
I think
Sandman
that
is
we can address right now that there is a possibility that one author took inspiration from another author.
Uh-huh.
And we can say that right now, and then going forward, we can just know that maybe that happened.
Maybe it happened.
That's
Maybe it
crazy.
happened.
Yeah, it
And so
definitely happened.
everything we talk about that's similar between them, we will now have in our heads thanks to Josh, who has said this thing.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Here's what I'll say. Oda, the world of One Piece is very bizarre, and I'm sure this will
Yeah.
change. But up to this point, One Piece has been a little bit more bizarre than the Bizarre Adventures one.
The world of
Yeah.
One Piece is way more bizarre than
Yes.
the world of JoJo because
Yes.
JoJo just takes place on normal Earth.
JoJo
Yes.
takes place on normal Earth with bizarre bubbles all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the
It's the things that happen in JoJo that will become that will be much more
You know
bizarre
what?
than the
It's-
things that happen in One Piece.
it's because it's all relative. Something can't be bizarre if everything's bizarre.
that's true.
You're-
And if we're all soup, and so Oda obviously look, he's a very creative guy. He can come up with the weirdest fucking shit ever. I 100% will concede to me. I'm sure he has taken a lot and taken so much inspiration from Rocky because JoJo is so influential. But Oda, he makes all kinds of cool stuff. That's what he does.
I literally am mostly like joking.
Yeah.
I'm probably on the same level of y'all. I just keep saying this as a dumb joke. I know that also like I looked it up. His main like inspiration apparently was Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Which is big surprise. Obviously the most influential.
Because of all the dragons and all the balls.
Yeah.
All the
I'm
We've
sorry.
seen so much of
Luffy
that.
Is,
I've seen so many
is
balls.
Goku. Like Luffy is pretty much Goku.
Luffy is not Goku.
Okay.
I can't
Luffy
believe
could-
you would
Luffy's
say that.
Goku-like in a way.
Yeah, who do you think would win in a fight?
I thought you were going to say
easily
Luffy's Goku light.
I almost said Goofy.
Goofy.
He's a goof.
He's the goofy. He'd make a special appearance. And
Aw.
just,
I keep telling Adriana, like if you like Luffy, you'll like Goku. Just saying.
That's not true.
Adriana,
I hate Goku.
you do?
I do. They are such... Luffy is an emotionally intelligent guy who fights to protect his friends. Goku is willing to endanger planets
Yeah.
to fight people that are somewhat
Okay.
stronger than him.
Listen. I mean, in
Wow.
in their personality traits, not necessarily their morals.
They're
Well-
both loud and they
They're
both
both
eat a lot.
dumb
His-
and they both
Yes.
eat a
Those
lot.
traits are not why I like Luffy, though. So
Luffy's
Josh just like turned his
Josh
brain just turned off,
broke.
powered down.
I
He
saw
just
him
like
break. Yeah.
looked
I saw
into
his-
space.
I saw the light leave his eyes.
Luffy's a
I just
good
don't know.
man.
I just don't know how much longer I can do this. Man. I just don't know how much longer we can keep doing this.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a question actually. Knowing both Clayton and Hayden, both of
You
knowing
know
you
us?
guys.
You
I
know
do. Isn't
us.
that crazy?
No.
And not you, Josh. I don't know. He did it again. He's out. I was curious if you guys or like Clayton, have you ever thought
Yes.
about? We have we have like an ensemble cast going on, and both of them they're on an adventure. You could say they are adventurers. Adventurers. Have you ever thought about like what their D&D classes would be if they were
Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
and so for you for
Thank
the
you.
Straw
Alright, I'm gonna
Hats
eat my
and
sandwich
then
while y'all
Hayden
talk
for
about
the,
this.
Thank
the
I
part
think
3 gang.
Yeah.
Jotaro is a way of the astral self monk, of course.
Of course.
By the way,
What
Josh,
did you just say?
Josh, if you ever need reason to play D&D, there's a D&D subclass that is heavily believed to be based off of stands and more specifically Star
I've
Platinum.
heard of this.
You're a
Astral
monk and
self
you
monk
summon like a
Arms
ghost that fights for
comes
you.
in and fights people for you.
Oh my god.
So you can play Jotaro.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Polnareff
cool.
is probably a fighter.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that weapon, right? Do fighters have weapons? I'm not like
Fighters are-
insanely familiar
Wait,
with
who's-
D&D.
who's
They
the
are
truck
definitely
freak?
more experienced.
Who's the truck?
Iggy, obviously.
You haven't seen that?
I'm not familiar.
The fighter.
The fighter. The crazy ass.
Okay,
Truck
okay,
freak.
yeah.
The last one is like.
Just white noise.
Yeah.
Cacuine, I mean,
Cacuine,
probably a wizard.
I would
Personality
even
wise,
I would even maybe go into a little bit of like sorcerer
I was gonna say
for
sorcerer's
Cacuine.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like
but he's so like intelligence
yeah,
based.
I think Avdol is a sorcerer.
Avdol is 100% a sorcerer.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cacuine's a wizard.
Joseph is
a
such an
rogue.
artificer.
Ooh.
Oh, he's very roguish
Joseph
as well.
is a rogue.
I would.
You think he's an artificer?
What's an artificer?
Artificers are like inventors. They're very smart and they're very clever,
But I don't know.
and they've always got gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah, but Joseph never has gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah.
The clackers.
The
Ting, 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 ting,
The
ting,
one time he had clackers
Yeah,
for
just
bandana.
the gun,
episodes.
the 10 billion
Tommy
grenades,
That's true.
the plane,
I still think he's just got things he pulls out.
the
Random
camera.
bullshit.
I honestly,
camera
I
and the
genuinely
TV
think
and
he is an artificer rogue multi-class
I
because
like
obviously
that,
he's so
yeah.
roguish.
Yeah.
and he's in multiple parts, and he like brings a different energy to each one.
He's
Yep.
also 100% a swashbuckler rogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is that?
Mom,
It's a subclass that is all about like being able
Misdirection.
to talk your opponent into missing you and kind of stuff like that. It's very fun.
Interesting.
Mom, if you're listening,
Come play D&D with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
if you're listening, I'm really sorry. Okay.
what class would Josh's mom be?
Cool.
Cool.
Mom, turn it off right now, or put it on mute for the next like 10 minutes, because this is gonna like probably.
Hopefully we'll be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we need to be. I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Luffy is
A barbarian.
Yeah, okay, 100%.
That's awesome.
Zoro is, I think Zoro is a Kinsei monk.
I think Zoro's a fighter. Because fighters, the whole thing is like you get so good at just doing just your normal fighting thing.
Yeah.
I think Zoro's a fighter. Nami, monk, maybe rogue.
Let me come back to Nami.
Mm-hmm.
Usopp.
She gives me warlock vibes. Obviously, she's not because she doesn't have.
But she could be. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're playing her in D&D, 100%.
Yeah.
Usopp is an artificer.
Usopp definitely an artificer. Sanji monk.
Sanji monk.
I mean,
okay,
you know.
yeah. Sanji monk.
He kicking the shit out of people.
Sanji monk.
Chopper, I guess a druid.
yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause he
that
wild
checks out.
shapes and
He's got his little
That
good
would work.
berries.
feelings, and he's got
He's got his
Um,
feelings.
his
His
feelings.
feelings.
His
He has
feelings.
feelings.
He does have feelings.
Um,
yeah.
Zoro fighter, and then Vivi bard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
She fights with her words.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about this? That like the pen, sometimes mightier than the sword.
Wow. That
Do we want to get
is
into
great.
expectations?
Yeah. Let's do it
Yes,
quick.
let's do them so
Woohoo.
quickly, please.
We're reading 2 volumes.
2 volumes of One Piece. As for expectations, I'll tell you a brief backstory. This is a very controversial section of the story. This arc that y'all are reading, the 2 volumes that y'all are going to be reading is kind of a preamble arc. Generally, this little preamble arc is very well liked. I think we'll have a lot of fun with that. But the arc as a whole that we're going to spend the next 5-ish weeks on of the podcast, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I'm just going to tell you it was very controversial.
Okay.
I hated it for a while. Alex Pittner read it. He liked it. And I was like, okay. And then I read it. And I was like, this is pretty great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Magic is in the air.
Good
That's
to know.
You
awesome.
said
Exciting.
5 weeks, so 10 volumes. Is this
It's a long one.
Jesus?
But then after that is the one I hear so much about, which is
Okay.
really
Yes.
exciting.
Josh loves to say that.
We are about to get to the One Piece fuckathon. It is going to be
that
awesome.
should be a special episode.
You know what's
yeah.
awesome? Is that I could say the same thing for JoJo.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
You were going to watch 6 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and boy, am I so fucking excited. I would not mind watching any of these with you. However, the last 2, I need to watch with you. You
Okay.
understand? Don't fucking watch them unless I'm in the room.
Okay.
And honestly,
You might have to come here and watch them before the next time we record, though.
Oh yeah,
Before the
yeah,
next
yeah,
time?
yeah.
I want to watch these episodes, man.
okay, well, we can start. I mean, if you have time, we can start after this.
Yeah, we can start. But those last 2, I'm just saying, you gotta get your ass down here if you want to. If you want me to hold on. To them.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not gonna wait all
unemployed.
fucking
Okay.
week.
Here's the point. This is such an important episode because I think I told you off mic. This is the turning point for me. For me, this is a big turning point in JoJo.
Oh, you mean like the episode like
You will-
after this
yes,
segment? Yeah.
Because the first 2 episodes, there's 3 fights. The first 2 fights are a very fun, goofy arc. I think you're gonna like. The next 2, the middle 2, are probably the worst one in JoJo. Definitely in part 3, considered by many. However, I'm really excited to know what you think about it. And then after that, here's the thing. Araki knew when he got around this point. You know, no, I'm going to say that later, okay? The point is the last arc is one that people really, really like.
Hell yeah.
And I got to say, after that, it's kind of, I think you're just going to like everything after that. Not just in part 3, but just in JoJo. So,
Okay.
Really, really excited to talk about these episodes. And I was originally going to just have you watch the next 4 and just leave you off with just despair with the last with the second battle, but we decided that no, we should leave you off with some hope because I don't know how people watching weekly JoJo when it was airing, I don't know how they tuned in for the next episode. So anyway, those are your expectations. Take them or fucking leave them. Now let's pop a cap in the back of this fucking podcast
what are you
skull.
saying? Okay.
Stick that in your throat and pull the trigger.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. All right, sure thing.
So anyway, thanks for listening. And on that note,
And
we love you. Good night.